When I was younger, I was very happy. I had a pretty good life. I was a good student. I started smoking marijuana at 16, and then around 17 years old, I actually started venturing into other types of drugs, and life got a little complicated. That path leads you into a different way of life. And the nightlife was something I was intrigued by, and I just kept going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. At the age of 25, I got married and had 2 children. I was really leading a double life. I was working, I was a mother, going to school, as well as using and selling drugs. I was 31 years old when I went to prison. The treatment that I saw in prison was inhumane. You have officers calling women bitches and hoes and telling them they shouldn't have never came to prison. A correctional officer patted me down to the point where it felt like sexual abuse. I have seen sexual abuse, and I have also seen suicides. I saw this one young lady hanging from the rafters. A young lady gave birth to her baby in the toilet and didn't have any medical assistance at all. I saw how prison was created to oppress, because as I was in there wasn't no real programs to help with rehabilitation. I made some bad choices, and we all made some bad choices, but you're not the worst of the worst. There's some beautiful people in prison, and we're not misfits of the world. We just misunderstood in the world.
I feel like there's a negative perception of what we do as correctional officers, and that's because of the nature of the job and the fact that the job takes place behind the walls and wires of correctional facilities. Imagine the roughest neighborhood that you've ever been in, and no one ever leaves, and you're put right in the middle of it. We work 8 to 12, sometimes 16 hours a day with 60, 70, 100, 200 individuals, and we have to keep the peace. So one of the obvious threats that we face is the physical violence, is the potential to be assaulted. And that's something that we face every day. Most of the people incarcerated have had bad experiences with law enforcement or people in uniform. In a given day, we could respond to, a medical emergency or a suicide or a serious assault or, a homicide. And so what that does is it pushes us into a state of hypervigilance to where we're always ready for something. So even if we're scared, we can't show it. It really tears you up over the course of your career. Part of the challenge with working in this environment for a long time is that you're constantly lied to. And that's what you're trained, that people will try to manipulate you to get things that they want. So if an individual comes to me, a female that's pregnant, she says that she's having contractions, the side that you don't see is that that's the 200th individual that's come up to you during the length of your career. We still render aid the way we need to render aid, but that's part of the emotional erosion that correctional officers face over the duration of their career. You can't show any emotion when you're dealing with these situations. If you look at the latest studies that are put out about correctional officers, you'll see that the divorce rates are higher, the suicide rates are higher. We're told that everybody incarcerated will either try to lie, steal, or kill you. So what we deal with, it's not really PTSD, it's more like complex or cumulative PTSD. And so it's like being waterboarded with trauma over the course of your career. We're always in the back of our mind wondering, is today going to be the day?
William, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
You say there's a constant threat that violence will erupt either among the prisoners or against the staff.
Yeah, I mean, all the ingredients are there. Anytime that I go into work or any correctional officer goes into work, they risk, getting assaulted seriously or being killed.
And you say when somebody comes up and says to you, look, I'm pregnant and I'm having contractions, you look at that kind of askance, like, yeah, you're the 2000th person who's said that to me, but you still run through the process, but you're sometimes skeptical.
Well, I mean, that's a terrible quote. It was kind of taken out of context, but
but you do have to look at it with.
Well, we're taught that when we go in through the academy, we're taught that everybody's going to lie to us. We're going to be manipulated at every conversation is a way to mine information to get us to bring in a cell phone or to bring in drugs later.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.